Hey, welcome to another edition of the Pigskin Preview here at Wings to Go. I'm Dave Ruthenberg, sports editor at the Enid News Eagle, and along with me, as always, is our own gridiron guru, Brian Hacker from Wings to Go. Welcome, Brian.
Well, thank you. Good, another week of high school football down.
And we're getting a good idea where everybody stands, and I think we started to see that last week already a little bit with Enid.
With Enid, definitely. They go on the road. They go to Sand Springs. They have a tough time of it in the first half. Yeah. They pull it through in the end, and they get full district points, so that helps out tremendously.
They did. It was a 15-point win, but it was a very frustrating 15-point win for Coach Parker, who was maybe one of the unhappiest coaches I've seen after a victory. He kind of feels like the team is kind of playing to its competition, and I think we've seen that all year.
But they're winning, and that's the key. Winning cures all evils, and they've won. They can come home this week and play Bixby.
One measure that I always measure opponents by is how bad did they lose to Union? And they only lost 28-3 to Union. Going to be a very action-packed game, I think, this Friday at Deep Bruce Selby Stadium. But I think the Plainsmen come away with another district win.
Yep, I agree.
Okay. Hey, OBA got back on the winning track last week. They welcomed in Texoma and took care of business against Texoma 48-0. And they get another home game this week against another, I think, fairly difficult team, and that's Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas comes in. They're 5-1. They lost to O'Keene. They did beat Turpin 38-7. Everybody else they've had has had losing records. So Thomas is coming into OBA, who lost a couple of weeks ago on a bad road game to Beaver. But you lose on a road game to Beaver, and you fall out of the top 10. But Beaver's ranked in the top 10 now, so OBA deserves a whole lot more than that.
Yeah, they do.
Thomas coming in, they're 5-1. They're going to be a tough team for OBA, but again, show what you got at home and take care of it.
Yep, I think OBA gets back on track and starts motoring back into the playoff picture.
I agree.
All right, the Mustangs of Pioneer have a home game this weekend. They're welcoming in Wellston, a team with a similar record of 1-5.
Wellston, similar record, but not a similar schedule. Pioneer has played the toughest teams in the state in their class.
They have.
And they've come out 1-5. They've held respectable games. They've got blown out a few games, but going up against Wellston, I'm looking at their records. Both teams have played Minko.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm comparing the two at.
Yeah, and they're very similar there. And as you mentioned, if there is a strength of schedule difference, it definitely favors Pioneer. And I think that's going to set them up well. I think they come away with their second win of the season playing at home this Friday. Hey, we got a pretty big game coming up at Covington Douglas this week, too, with Waukomis visiting. I think this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Waukomis is playing some good football lately, and we know how Covington Douglas has been playing.
Covington Douglas is rolling. They've got the steamroller going downhill, and Waukomis coming in there. They are playing good ball. They're going to have to play the best game of their lives to be in that game and to win, but they can do it.
Yeah, they can do it. Mike Builder, his squad at Waukomis, they rode a young man, I think his name was Terrell, last week for 41 times for over 300 yards. So if they can establish that kind of ground game, I think that's what they're going to need to do to prevail. DCLA number 1. Traveling to Forgan, number 2. Forgan struggled a little last week against a good Sharon Mutual team, but they beat them 14-8. DCLA, they've beaten only one team so far this year with a winning record, and that was Medford, who they beat handily 44-8.
I honestly, I'm going to call the upset. I'm going to call Forgan because they are the home team. I'm going to give them the edge there.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go that way too because home field, I've learned an 8-man means an awful lot.
It is huge.